Preamble. You know that feeling when after years in hell, you finally land in a decent place. For my dad, an assistant principal, his previous school was exactly that hell. Overcrowded, reeking of weed from the bathrooms, where weekly dramas were routine and free lunches a sad norm. His new post at Springvale High seemed like an oasis. Quiet hallways, motivated students, only 2 incidents all year. The first was an episode with an autistic child, handled with competence. And the second is the story that made my dad believe in karma and showed that even in still waters, monsters can lurk. The cast. Dad. Our protagonist, the new assistant principal who knows the value of order. The entitled princess, EP, an 11th grader for whom rules were mere suggestions. The fury mother, FM. Her mother, the walking embodiment of parental protection. The thug brother, TB, 22 years old, already on a first-name basis with the law, probation for robbery. The bully sister, BS, a college student who never missed a chance to make noise. Driver Mark, a veteran 20 years behind the wheel of a school bus, quiet and calm. Principal Roberts, Dad's wise boss who trusts his instincts. Officer Dennis, the school resource officer, a former investigator. Judge Harper, severe and unwavering, with zero tolerance for nonsense in his courtroom. Plus lawyers, other students. Prologue. At the bus stop. It all started with a trifle. EP, exiting the bus, deliberately lingered in the doorway, blocking other kids. Mark, polite as always, said, "Ashley, let's call her Ashley. Please move along, don't hold up the others." It wasn't a shout, just a request. But for Ashley, it was an unheard of humiliation. Her venomous glare said it all. A minute later, Mark's phone buzzed with a text from FM. "How dare you insult my daughter? We'll be having words." Mark, hesitating for a moment, simply drove on with his route. The attack. Morning of reckoning. The next morning, an eerie silence hung over the family's house. Ashley was nowhere to be seen. Instead, on the driveway, like vengeful ghosts, stood 3 adults. FM with arms crossed, TB in a hoodie pointing his phone camera, and BS with a mocking sneer. Mark, his heart in his throat, cracked open the door. "Excuse me, where's Ashley?" he asked. That was the signal. As if on command, they stormed onto the bus. The door hissed shut. "So you're the bastard who dares to tell my daughter what to do?" FM hissed, her face inches from his. "I'll tear you apart, you old geezer," TB snarled, punching the fare box. BS, meanwhile, paced the aisle, looking at the terrified children. "Take a good look," she shouted. "This is what happens when you mess with our family." 10 minutes of pure nightmare. Threats of violence, racist slurs, Mark is Latino, promises to handle it, so he'd never drive again. The youngest student in the front row, little Jake, was silently crying. When the trio, satisfied with their terror, finally spilled back onto the asphalt, Mark, hands trembling, shifted into gear and sped away. One thought cut through the adrenaline fog. The cameras. Please, let them have caught everything. The investigation. Cold fury. Dad's office smelled of coffee and impending storm. He was watching the footage from 4 angles. The audio was crystal clear. He saw Jake's tears, heard every vile word. His face, usually calm, turned to stone. "Dennis." Dad's voice was quiet and dangerous. "This isn't just a school code violation. This is assault, intimidation of child witnesses, interference with official duties under threat of violence. Dig up everything on this family, especially the son." Officer Dennis, switching to investigator mode, reported an hour later. "Big brother is on probation. Violation equals automatic jail time. Mom's record is clean, but this is her first big mistake." "Perfect," Dad said. Then we play for keeps. The first move, administrative revenge. Before involving the law, Dad struck at their sense of impunity. For EP, not just a bus change, she was reassigned to Route Num 4 which went across the entire town and had the earliest pickup. A 5:30 a.m. wake-up call became her new reality. The ban official, stamped letters, delivered in person by Officer Dennis, barred FM, TB, and BS from coming within 100 meters of any school district property. Violation meant criminal trespassing. For Mark, not just a month off, Dad and the principal arranged for a fully paid stress management program and a public commendation from the school board with a bonus. The trial, karma's surprises. The courtroom smelled of old wood and antiseptic. The district's lawyer was concise, relying on the children's statements. Little Jake, clutching a toy, said clearly, "They were yelling really loud, and I was scared they would hit Uncle Mark." FM's lawyer, seeing the ironclad evidence, just mumbled about maternal stress and an exaggerated reaction. It seemed headed for a fine and probation. But Judge Harper leaned back in his chair, took off his glasses, and looked wearily at FM. "Mrs. Carter," he began slowly, "you brought 2 other adults to stage a public flogging of a public servant in front of children. You turned a school bus, a safety zone, into a platform for intimidation. You were not protecting a child. You were teaching her entitlement and violence. 30 days. I hope behind bars the boundaries of acceptable behavior become clearer to you." A stunned silence hung in the room, followed by a collective, subdued exhale. Dad and the principal exchanged brief, almost imperceptible nods. But the true drama was yet to come. The final act. Idiocy as a path to prison. The hearing for Thug Brother was scheduled right after. But when the clerk called his name 3 times, the courtroom was silent. His lawyer shrugged helplessly. Judge Harper slowly, almost theatrically, lifted his head. "I assume, Mr. Carter believes the rules, including appearing in court, don't apply to him. Just like the terms of his probation. Bench warrant." Immediately. They found him the next day at his mother's house, watching TV, convinced he'd get away with it. When they brought him, handcuffed, before the judge, the man didn't even bother with details. Probation violated, court avoided. Elements of organized action are present. 1 year. Next. 1 year. Not a week, not a month. A year of real time. His dumbfounded, shocked face in that moment was a masterpiece. Epilogue. Ashley, who became a pariah at her new school due to rumors, thank you, gossip mill, soon transferred out. Mark returned to driving, and now kids give him drawings. And Dad? He sometimes rewatches that footage, not out of schadenfreude, but as a reminder that sometimes, very rarely, the system works exactly as it should, inevitably, justly, and with a truly poetic sense of timing. Karma, consider it delivered, sealed, signed, and with an expiration date of 12 months.